Angry Birds Space, my childhood. This was my favorite game as a kid, and probably was yours too. So today, why don't we rank every single boss fight in this game? And quick disclaimer, what I will be putting out there before we start is we are not including Fry Me to the Moon because that technically doesn't have a boss fight. We're also going to keep out Brass Hogs or any of the other dimensional things because they're just basically remade versions of each boss but different, and you're fighting the same pig. So I'm not counting those. And also I'm going to be rating it on how it utilizes the different birds and the atmosphere and way to defeat the birds. And we are going from worst to best. Let us start off with number 1. Coming in at number 8 on the list is the Mars Rover. Now, as much as I love this boss fight, it's just really anticlimactic. All you're doing is literally trying to defeat the Mars Rover, and really, it's not much of a boss fight. Like, take a look at all the other fights. You basically fight the King Pig or some other pig in, like, a giant vehicle or something, or, like, in space. And this one, you're just fighting on a Mars Rover. I understand why this boss fight was put in there, because at the time, NASA wanted to celebrate the success of Apollo 2, which I believe launched onto Mars around that time. I don't know, I'm not much of an expert on space, but yeah, this is ranking it very low. And if it was based on music, I don't think it would be at the top of the list either, because all bosses use the exact same music. But let's move on to the next spot. Coming in at number 7 is Pig Bang. Now, I love this boss fight and all, but all you have to do is this, and you have to drop, and see, it's literally done as that. That's how quick it took me to beat it, with skills. I've beaten this level many times, and it's just really short. Now, I love this boss fight because it's the introduction to the game. It teaches you how to use all the birds, but it's just really short for that type of boss. But anyways, let's move on to number 6. Number 6 is Cold Cut from the second chapter in the game. Now, this is the second time you defeat King Pig, and as you can see, it's a lot more challenging because you have to time it exactly to where these things hit him, and he moves all the way around. He just doesn't just move left and right. He literally can go up, down, and like that. Like, it's pretty hard to hit him if you're not good with the slingshot, which unfortunately I am for King Pig, so watch out, King Pig, because you're not surviving me. But yeah, the thing that motivates this over the other one is because it's the first time you actually get to use the Ice Bird in this game in a boss fight. And as you can see, he's pretty overpowered, this character. I really like the Ice Bird. Angry Birds, bring him back, please, when you do eventually start creating more games. I really like the Ice Bird, and I want to see more. Rovio, make it happen, please. But anyways, like, yeah, see, I've already finished all my birds and still haven't gotten him. So that's what puts him above Pig Bang, because Pig Bang is really easily done. This thing literally takes you several attempts to get it successfully, if you're lucky. If you're me, I could probably get it. So let's see if I can get it second try, because I've been playing these games since I was little. This was my introduction to video games. I know it might not be something like Minecraft, but it was a start. Angry Birds was my favorite, especially the fact that it got me into Star Wars. When I was younger, I remember not seeing Star Wars because I was too young, and then Angry Birds Star Wars came out, and my dad told me about the movies, and he showed them to me. I love those memories. And let's see if we can finish him off. Finish him. And there we go. See? I beat him. Anyway, moving on to the next level. Number 6 or 5. I don't know. I lost track. But the next one on the list, I believe it's 5. Okay, it's 5. Moving on. It's coming in at number 5 is the Beak Impact Chapter 2. I love the first one. In fact, you'll find out where I placed that later on in the video, but this one, honestly, it's just okay, because all you have to do is open the gate, and then he's literally easy to defeat. It's literally, you just have to be fast, and then once the gates are down, you can literally, see, Bomb literally just freed it, and there we go. Ice is about to go, and there we go. Level done. But, yeah, pause the game. See, the thing that elevates this above the other ones is the fact that you're basically defeating him for the last time, and there's actually henchmen, and not many bosses have henchmen in them. Really only the Mars Rover, but there's more henchmen than the boss. Like, let's be honest, the Foreman Pig, he's not really much of a boss, because in all the other Angry Birds games, until the cartoon show started, he was like not really a main boss. He was just in random levels. I mean, sure, he was a boss in a part, like a chapter of the game, but that's just about it. Anyways, that's moving on to number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the Giant Massive Hungry Pig. Now, I bet a lot of you were expecting to place this a lot higher, but I do like this level. It's just, it's really easy. It's to defeat. All you have to do is time it perfectly. And like, it's not really much of a challenge, because once you figure out how to defeat him, it's pretty easy. Like, look, I'm already done, almost. There we go. Once he eats this, and done. Like, it's easy. And this is meant to be like a boss fight. I mean, yeah, I didn't get the best high score. I didn't beat my old high score, but it still did pretty easily. So that's why I placed it here. But moving on to number 3, we have number 3 is Anyways, take 2. Number 3 is King Pig's Submarine. Now, I love this boss fight. I love Pig Dipper because it has its own special theme song. And this level is amazing. It's one of my favorite boss fights ever. And I think the thing that elevates this above some of the other ones is just how cool it is, because he goes under to avoid attacks. And I love how the Eggstroid, that's what it's called, I think, has its own little seat inside the submarine. And then I like how when you defeat it, he floats to the surface, or the egg floats to the surface. I really like this game because of that, because this game is really cool with their boss fights. I've never seen so many good boss fights. To keep in mind, though, this was the first game that introduced actual boss fights where it has theme songs and you get to fight the boss. Like in Angry Birds, the original game, you fight the boss, but there's no music and there's no anything like interesting. Like, you just defeat King Pig and then cutscene, and then you're done. This level surprised me. Anyways, coming in at number 2. Okay, these top 2 were really hard to put into place. But number 2 goes to Beak Impact 1. Now, I love this game because it's basically kind of like the game that my second favorite game as a kid, Space Invaders. I had a little video game console like kind of thing It was like a mini DS or something like that, one of those like mini arcade machines that had this game on here. And when this boss came out, I was in shock that they turned another one of my favorite games into this. Speaking of which, I just learned this today. It has to do with a different game, but Angry Birds actually did a crossover with Stranger Things, which is one of my favorite TV shows. Comment down below if Angry Birds were in Stranger Things, who would be what character, if you think. But anyways, yeah, I love this battle because they're coming through the portal, and then eventually you defeat the King Pig. And I like how this sets up for the next chapter, and he's basically at a station repairing himself. It's just, for a space station, for repairing, it's not very secure. I think it should have been more secure than leaving power generators to open the door. And anyways, I bet you can guess what is in number 1. Number 1, the greatest Angry Birds space boss fight is Cosmic Crystals. I love this boss fight. This boss fight is so cool. And it honestly, it handled crystals way better than Ninjago Drag Season 15 or 16, depending on if you count the island as a season did. Crystallized. That season's not that great. I mean, and this is what crystallized should be. You've got literally a pig freezing other pigs in crystals. And you literally have to free them and also pop them, which is kind of sad because the pigs didn't do anything to be trapped in there. I mean, they kind of did. They stole the eggs. And then, I love this, how the sound the crystals make when they explode. Here, I'll let you have a listen. There you go. But anyways, that has been my ranking for every Angry Birds Space boss fight. If you agree with me, please consider subscribing and hit the like button if you want to see more. Part 2 coming soon, and we're going to be ranking every boss in a different Angry Birds game if this video does well. So, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye, guys.